We know that. It's a tough thing right now, and part of the reason we want to talk about this is academics, of course, a very good transition to talking about your money. And one of the things that we focus on in the show is total wellness. And there is some new research supporting that those of us that can't keep up with our finances can't keep our health, at least the ability of our health to stay well. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about some of this research. The reason that we're talking about this is several studies now, one in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, found that even before this pandemic, if you had money stress or debt, you were more likely to have everything from chronic health concerns such as obesity and diabetes to immediate health concerns like high blood pressure and depression. So for a little while, I've actually been looking for someone who kind of bought into this philosophy. How's that for a transition? And so I want to introduce to you Dave Wilder. We're keeping our distance, so you're welcome if you need to keep your mask wherever it's comfortable for you to talk. We are in the studio because it allows us to be at least 6 feet apart. We're more like 12. But Dave Wilder, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yes, my name is Dave Wilder. I'm with Total Wealth Planning. We're a wealth management firm in Blue Ash, Ohio, and I'm here today to talk about strategies for how to invest for the long term.
And part of the reason that we wanted to sort of partner in you in the, with you in this is I think right now the number one thing we're all feeling stressed about is our finances and our future. If you have a job, you're worried about losing it. If you had money in your 401k, it's dropped. So are you getting a lot of those same concerns?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, during periods of crisis like this, it's very important to have a plan that you can stick with. And if you have a strategy in place before something like this, it really helps out. But there are people who certainly don't have that plan today and are going through a little more difficult time because of that.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You gave me some ideas of things that you thought were important, and we put those into graphics. You could sort of talk me through this. I was wondering, you know, right now, if you're concerned about your own money, do you pay off your credit card? Where do you go with this? So talk me through the things you want us to know.
Sure. I mean, there are certain basic principles if you're trying to put money away, you have to make sure you take care of first. I mean, if you're carrying a lot of credit card debt, some of these interest rates are out of control at 20 or 25%. And often we see people might be making minimum payments on that, and that can take years, if not decades, to pay that off.
But keep in mind, if I'm nervous I'm not going to have a job, I don't want to start paying down my card. So how do you advise people on that?
Well, that's true. You might have to wait until you have some more income. I know, a lot of people are just basically getting by today. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on the person, the individual, what their certain situation is today. If you're getting a $1,200 check, that could be something that you could use towards that. If you're getting unemployment, a lot of people are actually making more in unemployment today than they were when they were working, and there's opportunities maybe there.
No one wants to admit that, but I have girlfriends who've told me that's true. Okay, yeah. Then let's talk about our 401ks. We're seeing some changes in that. What are you recommending about that? Yeah,
so the 401k plan, one of the best things to do, take advantage of, is the company match. I mean, the company match is free money. If you put, let's say, sometimes 3% in, they might match dollar for that 3%. So that's 100% return on your money right there. Take advantage of that, and then.
So you don't recommend at this time that we stop contributing to that, even though we're nervous or our finances are low?
If you're nervous, that's one thing. If you have a plan in place that you have some money put away, I mean, one of the big goals for anybody is to have money for a rainy day. So
I agree with you, but they say the average person's 3 paychecks from poverty, and all of us who've worked, know how quickly your life can change.
Yeah, well, that's why you have to talk about the individual person, and the ones that we're working with are typically folks that have at least had money squirreled away for a rainy day at this point.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about you. If I've not done any of this, will you start with anyone at any place where they are financially?
Yeah, I mean, we have resources. If someone calls us and they're trying to get some help on things, just depending on how complicated the situation is, there are resources, or actually charitable organizations in town. If you really have an issue with paying off debt, we don't actually focus on that, but we have places we could send you to that.
But I mean, if I have a job and I've not done the things that you've talked about, do I have to have a lot of money to reach out to you, or will you take kind of the average worker and help them plan?
So I guess it depends how you define that average worker. The typical scenario would be someone's got some money put away that we're able to help them manage that and make that grow as much as possible for them. So that would be really the way to start off, is to have some funds put away at this point.
Okay, so something to think about. We're going to have our next conversation with you about that. If I've got some money in my savings account, I don't know what to do with it. So you think about that answer. One thing I do want to let people know is that we, just in the interest of being correct, need to put up a quick disclosure on you, and that is that this is just, you're a registered investment advisor, but this is for educational purposes. They don't suggest we run out and do everything you say without talking to an advisor, which is always a great thing. It's great to meet you. Thanks for understanding that our health and our wealth go together.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I certainly offer my thoughts and prayers for anybody that's suffering through a health crisis at this point during the pandemic.
Yeah, we can't pretend this isn't an important part of it.
Yes.
All right, and we'll be right back.